Hi everyone, I'm Cloud. Before we begin, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal views. It does not constitute financial advice. The cryptocurrency market carries high risks. Please do your own research and consult a professional advisor before investing. Any predictions or analysis mentioned in this video may not be accurate, and you are solely responsible for your investment decisions. I'm not liable for any financial losses.
Let's start by reviewing last week before we move on to the outlook for this week. Last week covered June 9th to June 15. Sorry guys, I just realized in the past couple of days that I had accidentally flipped the Bitcoin and Ethereum data. I was too tired at the time and didn't notice. Bitcoin closed at a weekly high of 110,570 last week, hitting all of our targets. We mentioned that to reach 110K, 3 key conditions needed to be met, and they were. But I didn't think it would make a new all-time high because, in my opinion, the best window to push higher was before June 10th. Even though the candle on the 10th was strong, if that had happened earlier, say last week, we could have broken 120,000 already. I also gave timely updates on the daily chart. On the 7th, I said we'd see a rebound, but I warned that the 10th, 13th and 15th would be weaker. I told you to monitor the market closely. On the 10th, I specifically said that was likely the top of the week. Don't chase the rally. If you're doing short-term trades, the levels I gave you were already more than enough. But some people told me they still don't understand how I read the price action, or why I use daily price levels. Honestly, if you've been watching for this long and still don't get it, I'd suggest you don't do short-term trading. That's for your own safety. You know I give you these price zones for free. Out there in the market, good levels are usually behind a paywall. But even with paid groups, there are still tons of horror stories. People losing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. At the end of the day, you have to be responsible for your own trades. As for trading strategy, just pick something that matches your personality. If you don't have time to watch the charts or react quickly, try learning the DCA, dollar cost averaging method, or just stick to mid to long-term investing. But if you want to trade short-term, you have to learn how to read price movements and make fast decisions. Now, Bitcoin's weekly low was weird. It closed at 102,664 on June 12-13. But on Moomoo, it showed a flash dip all the way down to 94,000. I was shocked. I thought it was a system error. I refreshed several times and even reinstalled the app, but it didn't change. It wasn't until the next day that Moomoo's price started to look more like Coinbase again. This was the first time I've ever seen something like this. So here's a question for you guys. In moments like that, is it actually possible to place orders at those low prices? Like if I had an order sitting at 95,000, would Moomoo have honored it? Anyone tried this before? I'm not sure. I just opened my Moomoo account recently. Haven't traded yet. I'm mainly preparing so I can talk more about US stocks next year. I saw June 15th as a point of potential rebound, or at least some sideways action. Also, just a heads up, on June 12th, Jupiter approached the gate of Ardra, and by the 13th, it had fully entered. Keep an eye on the charts. I can't track candles 24/7. Since Bitcoin hasn't made a new high this week, I'm not changing the June support levels I gave earlier. Ethereum did make a new high, but it wasn't a dramatic breakout, so I'm not adjusting much yet. We'll update the levels again once we get closer to a pullback. Now for Ethereum, it closed at a weekly high of 2,879, hitting all targets. Honestly, I don't even have much to say. It should have gotten there a long time ago. It didn't let me down after all the trust I placed in it. The low was around 2,436, so not much of a drop. Ethereum held up pretty well. Now let's talk about the weekly forecast for June 16th to June 22. On June 13th, Jupiter officially entered Ardra Nakshatra, and it'll stay there until August 12. We're entering the storm window now. The real volatility begins this week. Key dates are from June 22 to 28. If you're planning to trade during this window, you need to watch the charts closely. I don't recommend new traders jumping in right now. But the real wave of disappointment might kick in starting around July 5th, because that's when Neptune goes retrograde, and it'll be retrograding in Pisces. Pisces is associated with long-term investments and bubbles, so during this time, any project that lacks real value or substance may get hit hard. For strong, legitimate assets, this is just a test, but for fake projects, it could be a bubble burst. People will start to doubt, does this project really have solid tech behind it? That's when the market enters fear, uncertainty, and FOMO fades. People get scared to trade. And right now, since Bitcoin is sitting at such a high level, things are really tough for smaller altcoins. If a coin doesn't have actual value or is a scammy project, it's facing serious risk of going to zero during this time. As for next week's price levels, I'm not going to read them out. I'll just post them on screen so you can take a screenshot and save them. Bitcoin needs to hold above 106,200 to aim for the upside. Ethereum needs to hold above 2,600 to keep pushing higher. Honestly, if we can just hit the first two targets next week, I think that'd already be a solid result. If you still believe we could hit a new high in June, then it's the same range as before. I've mentioned it many times already. Feel free to save the numbers. Alright, that's it for today. Weekly forecasts should never be viewed alone. They must be combined with daily and monthly charts. The daily charts fill in what the weekly might miss. I wish you all the best. May you buy at the bottom and sell at the top. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful. Send this to your friends too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.